Sometimes the biggest secrets aren't hidden away in some dusty old book. Sometimes they're right there in plain sight, tucked away inside a single word. Today, we're going to decode a word that holds a really complex story in just a few letters. Let's dive in. So what secrets can one word really hold? It's a great question, isn't it? I mean, you might think a word is just, well, a word, a simple definition. But what if it's more? What if it's a process, a formula, a whole story hidden in its very structure? And the word we're putting under the microscope today is rotor. Seems pretty simple, right? Kind of mechanical. But there's this unusual cipher that totally reinterprets it, and it reveals this deep, dynamic meaning hidden inside. So let's start the decryption. Okay, so the first step in any good code breaking is to break the thing down into its basic parts. We're not going to look at rotor as one solid thing. Instead, we're going to see it as a sequence of different pieces. And this is where we find our first big clue. And boom, here it is. The word splits perfectly into three little chunks: ro, t, and or. And trust me, this is not a random split. Each one of these segments holds a very specific piece of the puzzle. This initial break, it's the key that unlocks the whole thing. Now that we've got our components, we can start figuring them out one by one. Each part has its own meaning, and when you put them together, they tell a story of action, force, and, well, transformation. First up, row. This part represents pretty much exactly what you'd guess from the word itself: rotation. It's the act of turning, of spinning, of moving around some central point. So this is our starting action. It's the verb in our hidden sentence. Next, we've got the centerpiece, the letter T. And this is where the cipher gets really, really interesting, because T has a dual meaning. On a physical level, it represents torque, the force that causes the rotation. But symbolically, it's seen as the tau cross. And this brings a much deeper layer to our whole decryption. According to this interpretation, the tau cross symbolizes the divine turning of the cycle. So T isn't just some physical push. It's a fundamental, almost cosmic power that's driving this change. All of a sudden, we've gone from simple mechanics to something much bigger. And finally, we get to or. So if rotation is the action and torque is the force, then or is the result. A new orientation. It's the outcome of the turn, the new state you're in, the final position after all that movement is over. Okay, we've decoded all the pieces. Now for the really satisfying part, putting it all back together to see the full, hidden message that was locked inside the word rotor all along. So let's lay it all out. We begin with R, the act of rotation. That turning is driven by T, the torque, which is also seen as this divine force. And the whole process wraps up with or, which leaves us in a brand new orientation. See? It's a complete story, a little cycle. So, when we see the word ROTOR, the cipher is telling us to see this whole process a journey from rotation to a new orientation, all powered by a divine torque. The word isn't just an object anymore. It's a description of a powerful, transformative event. It is absolutely amazing what can be packed into just 5 letters, huh? Which brings us to a question for you. What word do you think holds a secret that you'd like to see decrypted next? Let us know. Thanks for joining me for this explanation.